Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. For those of you who have joined me in the past, you know I am Deb Burton, the founder and creator of RI Elder Info and rielderinfo.com. So for those who are new and joining me here today, you get to participate in our fabulous 3-year celebration. We've been around for 3 years as of October 19th of 2018. We are a 501c3 nonprofit located here in Rhode Island. I'm a real person. You really can call, email me, or text me, and you will get me. What we do is not possible without the support of our sponsors. So, huge shout out to Oak Street Health. They have 3 locations around the state. They have, actually 4 locations around the state. One in Warwick over by the Christmas tree shop, one over by the St. Joe's Hospital in Providence, or the old St. Joe's Hospital in Providence, by the McDonald's on Branch Avenue in Providence, and then up in Woonsocket, not far from the Planet Fitness over on Diamond Hill. Amazing program, primary care for individuals who are on Medicare. Lots of amazing things are going to be announced very shortly with Oak Street Health. We also have the support of United Healthcare. They provide insurance for Medicare eligible individuals. They have a lot of great programs coming out with their new launch. As many of you know, today's the first day of Medicare open enrollment. So I encourage you to reach out to Jennifer Barrows and get some information about what United can do for you. It's amazing. And then we have Tamarisk Assisted Living. They are located over by the mall. It is a wonderful assisted living. It's not too big, it's not too small, and they take care of their residents just like they were their own family. So you want to reach out to Sean or Susan over there, and they'd be happy to have a conversation. I love them because if it's not a good fit, they're going to tell you that too. So they're super honest. They really do treat your loved ones like family. I could not do this live streaming with you guys every week without the magic of D&B Media. They are working behind the scenes to make this look good. You'll probably see Ben pop in a little later today as part of our celebration. And if you've ever visited rielderinfo.com, you have seen the wondrous work of England Studio. They are an award-winning web design team located in North Kingstown. Although they can work with you anywhere. It's not like you have to go to them in North Kingstown. You could be literally anywhere in the world, and they can design a fabulous website for you. So I encourage you, if you have any kind of web work or marketing that you need done, reach out to England Studio. So today I am super excited to say RI Elder Info is 3 years old as of the 19th. So we're celebrating it today. And I reached out to a bunch of my friends to see what they might have to say about RI Elder Info. Ben, what did Robin have to say?
Hi everybody, it's Robin Covington, Director of Senior Services at East Bay Community Action in the East Providence Health Equity Zone. I'd like to just say thank you so much to Deb Burton and Rhode Island Elder Info for all the information that I receive. In particular, I just got some veteran resources. I know November is going to be Veteran Awareness Month, and also caregiver support groups. I'm often looking on there to see what's available. So kudos to Deb. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks to your commitment to Rhode Island's elders. We really appreciate you. Take care. Bye.
Robin is amazing. If you need any help in the East Bay area, she is the head of East Bay Community Action's Elder Services, and she's super nice too. You know, when RI Elder Info launched, I didn't necessarily recognize the importance of it. I thought it's a really cool website, and it has a lot of information. And you know, when you write your own paper, it makes it really hard to proofread. So everything looked good and made sense to me. And just to be safe, I sent it out to what's called the Patient and Family Advisory Council. And what the Patient and Family Advisory Council does is they review documents, websites, literature, etc., to make sure readability, usability, that everything makes sense to the general public. So I sent that over to the Patient and Family Advisory Council, asked them to look at it for ease of use, ease of readability, understandability. And the Patient and Family Advisory Council found one little spot on the website that if you had low vision and you were on a mobility device, that it was really kind of hard to see. So I was like, oh my goodness, I hadn't even, perceived that. So we went in behind the scenes, we fixed that fonts, resubmitted it to them, and they gave it the stamp of approval. So when you navigate RI Elder Info, it's easy to navigate, it's intuitive, and the content is easy to understand. It's funny, when you create something, you don't necessarily see how big and important and how many lives it can touch. For me, it was about following a passion. I knew that there are people out there who needed information. And, of course, there's always Google, but God knows what you get back on Google. You don't know if you can trust the information. And when you're a caregiver or you're an older adult, you don't have the time or the energy to really struggle to find stuff that you need. And so it's like, let's make this easy. Let's make this easy to use, easy to navigate. I ask one of three questions. Are you a senior? Are you a caregiver? Or are you a professional? And then from there, you can drill down into information that's available by city or town. 6 of the 8 domains of aging in place. So, if you're looking for healthcare and support, we've got that. Housing and transportation and legal and financial considerations. If you're looking for just fun things to do, we've got that too. And it was funny because it launched on October 19th of 2018. There was a huge behavioral health summit going on about 2 weeks later, and a doctor stood up in that summit over at the Crown Plaza and said, we don't have a reliable place that we can refer our patients to that we can trust. And it happened to be like a live chat feed going on. And I put in the live feed. I said, well, RA Elder Info just launched. Check it out. And as we did, the post-event breakdown, it was found that RI Elder Info resolve that issue for the physicians. It's someplace that they can send people to that they can trust. And I'm not a web designer. For me, it's kind of like, here's a bunch of information. I don't have the visual skills to make it look pretty. I don't, I don't have the idea of how things should flow. That all comes from England Studio. Can we bring Sal up? Hi, Sal.
Morning, Deb.
So my friend Sal from England Studio.
How are you?
Very
Congratulations. Good. 3 years.
Yes.
3 years of helping Rhode Islanders get to the resources that they need in order to take care of our older population, which, if we're lucky, we'll all get to be someday.
Oh, from your mouth to God's ear.
Yeah, we love being part of this project because we do a lot of design and website work for a lot of different companies, and some of them are pretty cool. But this is one that really gives back, and this is one that makes a difference. And Dave and I recognized that the moment the moment you pitched us on what you were trying to do, we said, "Wow, this is going to be huge. We really want to be part of this." And I think it's going great, and I think kudos to you for continuing to do this. I know that this is nights and weekends, and in addition to the daytimes, and you put your heart and soul into it. I don't think there's anybody in the state that knows more about the elder condition situation and where to find resources. And I know that it takes a lot of your time, and we're just happy to be part of that, a little tiny part of that equation.
I am really grateful for you guys and the support that RI Elder Info receives, because you're right. It is, it is days, nights, weekends. And, as you are very well aware, I get into the back end of the website and start adding things. And then I'm like, oh, this doesn't look right. And I'll shoot over a message to you guys. And then I'm like, oh my God, it's like 10 o'clock at night. And, you guys have been absolutely wonderful, wonderful to work with. And I'll never forget when I handed you the flash drive. We had talked about it being a big website, but our definitions of big were, I think, a little different. So when I handed you that flash drive and they said, and you asked, can you make a wireframe? I didn't know what a wireframe was. And I'm like, I can't even conceive of how this would be navigated or what this looks like. So you guys just asked the really simple question, who's your audience? And I said, well, I have 3: seniors, caregivers, and professionals. And then you guys are like, got it. Okay. Then it's kind of like, stay out of our way.
Yeah, we know what to do do now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, 3 years. It's amazing how fast time has gone by. And I'm really grateful for everything that you guys have done.
Well, we're thankful that you allow us to be part of your crusade.
Yeah, of course. And have you found, since you've made the website, I know it's one of the bigger ones, hundreds of pages, kind of a big site, in talking to people, have you found that people are interested in the topic? Are you finding that people you talk to are caring for aging parents?
We talk to people on a weekly basis who, just, how was your weekend? Oh, I had to move my mom into whatever. My dad had an issue. I couldn't figure out how to, and we say, look, have you checked out the state's pivotal resource for this stuff, which is rieldelinfo.com? And, and then people go on and they say, wow, I got some information on there that I couldn't find on the state sites. I couldn't find on Google. Everything is right there. So, we just click the result column when that happens.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Just getting the information into the hands of the people that need it. That's it. So I know that you have a 10,000 other things to do this morning. So I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chat. This is
Thanks for
awesome.
allowing us to be part of your celebration.
Yeah, I couldn't do this celebration. RI Elder Info and rieldelinfo.com wouldn't be here without you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So when we launched, within a few weeks, RI Elder Info won the Social Enterprise Greenhouse Business Achievement Award, where in health and wellness, because we got information out in a meaningful way to people. Shortly thereafter, we were named one of the 50 on fire by Rhode Island Inno. A little time after that, we won the Providence Business News Most Innovative Social Service Agency. And we got our actual 501c3 it arrived in my mailbox in August of 2019. It was actually retroactive to May of 2019 because, the IRS takes some time to get that kind of stuff done. But in the meantime, we were out there educating the public. So talking to community groups and churches and senior centers and libraries and pretty much anybody who would listen on how do we age independently? How do we, stay healthy, stay strong? How do we get this done? And I have to say, our reach really expanded as we became a nonprofit. Unfortunately or unfortunately, in 2020. 2020 was quite the year. We were scheduled to have the Calling All Veterans Conference at the University of Rhode Island. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, it became so critical for people to get information and resources that they needed in an understandable way as accurately and as quickly as possible. And you can never forsake speed accuracy. You can't forsake accuracy for speed. Getting wrong information out, particularly during the time of COVID, would have been awful. And when everything shut down for seniors, one of the first things I did, well, shut down for all of us, not just seniors, is reach out to every city and town and say, what are you doing for our older adults? We have senior centers that are meal sites. We have grocery stores that we're telling them not to go to. So how are they getting food? And I started pushing out information across social media and across my newsletter. My newsletter now has over 1,000 people who follow, and became really a trusted resource for getting information out on COVID and the COVID whole saga and dreadfulness that was last year. But the other thing that came about was we picked up some really cool sponsors. One of them is, as you hear me talk about every week, Tamarisk Assisted Living. Can you bring Tamarisk up, Ben?
We at Tamarisk are so excited to wish you a happy 3rd anniversary. Our Elder Info is an excellent resource for seniors all throughout the state of Rhode Island, especially the veteran population. The advocacy role that you play for seniors is second to none, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with you here at Tamarisk. Thanks, Deb.
Yeah, Sean is a great guy. Working on his degree in gerontology himself. He's super sweet. He's over at Tamarisk Assisted Living. And if you need a place for your loved one, it's a great place to go to and check out. It's not possible to do what we do without our sponsors. And, because we were doing the Calling All Veterans conference at URI, many of our sponsors saw the importance of getting resources out on getting information out on veterans resources to the community. So they said, you know what, Deb, take it virtual. And I was like, don't really know how to do a virtual conference. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to actually admit that on live stream, but I didn't know. So I figured, let me start Friday Friends and let me practice. So when you look at the first original Friday Friends from 2020, they're a little bumpy. And then I met sort of Ben. Ben was doing the work through DNB Media for the Lieutenant Governor during COVID to help him get the word out. And I really liked the way Lieutenant Governor McKee's live streams were going. I really liked, how they looked. And I reached out to Lieutenant Governor and said, who's doing that? And he said, oh, it's DNB Media. I'm like, well, can I borrow them? And the Lieutenant Governor said, sure. So Ben, can you come up? What's it like? You never knew you could be borrowed, huh?
I didn't know that I could be borrowed. I didn't know that I was property of the state of Rhode Island that could just be lent out. However, that was the case, and I really appreciate it. And actually, you were the first, maybe the first one to ask if they could borrow me, and then every other organization and we got to work with other groups and it started. You were the first one that asked to borrow me directly from the Lieutenant Governor's office, which was very nice, and I appreciate it. And yeah, so we've done Friday Friends every week for over a year now, well over a year. And we did Calling All Veterans Day, August 4th or 6th, August 6th, 2020. And then we did the Senior Resource Fair. We did Calling All Women Warriors. And we did a second Calling All Veterans Day. And now we have the Senior Resource Fair coming up again. And it's been a wonderful opportunity to get to work with you. Also, another thing that you did that I think was just fantastic, and that I think more people should know about, because it was sort of localized to each individual area, is that in February in January, February, and March, RI Elder Info uh, created and did these localized these localized interviews, information sessions, Q&As with members of each of the 39 cities and towns in Rhode Island, or as many as would say yes, to give out vaccine information for seniors, for caregivers, for the general public. There were so many things in the beginning of 2021 of when are vaccines going to be available? How can seniors get there? How do they know that it's not a scam? Who's going to call them? How do they know? And you were the person there asking all of those questions of all of the town managers and mayors and chief of police and everything. And that was a marathon as well. And so I just like the amount of work that you have already done for seniors and caregivers and professionals in Rhode Island is immense. And the fact that every time there's a new issue, you know, take that new issue on yourself is just unbelievable.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I know it's been quite a ride, and doing these live streams would not be possible without you. You make this look good. You make people feel comfortable, and you make the technology just run smoothly. And we've had some really funny things happen. All of a sudden I've lost my camera. My computer has decided to reboot. We've had dogs barking in the background.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't control dogs.
Oh,
That's the one thing I'm not a professional at is controlling dogs in the background. That's going to happen sometimes, but yeah, it's been a pleasure. And if I could just talk for a second about what I think RI Elder Info means to me and to the community as a whole, and why like I really hope to see it grow even more, is in 2019, my dad was planning on retiring from his job of 55 years. And there were so many things. It looked like my mom was, she was in and out of nursing homes for rehabilitation in 2019. And we didn't know what would happen if she ended up in one, or what to do about their house that they had just paid off. And I spent an ungodly amount of time in 2019 doing research and looking up information for elder care law and Medicaid and Medicare and insurance practices, and what happens if, can they give me their house and then that. And the amount of like, there's almost nothing in the world that you can't Google or find a YouTube video to explain it. But there were like a very few amount of videos on YouTube to explain the intricacies of it, and they were always state intricacies by one for-profit lawyer in like Mississippi. And it was always like, and this might not be applicable in your state, but those were the only resources. And that was terrifying, that I was looking as hard as I could online in different areas for different resources, and they were very, very hard to come by. And then I met you, and by that point, both of my parents had suffered some health issues pretty quickly at the beginning of 2020, and they were both in the nursing home. And I met you weeks before my father passed, and then that was a whole other can of worms. And I spent hours on the phone talking with you about the different possibilities and the different things that I could do, and the resources that were available in the state of Rhode Island. And RI Elder Info was such an invaluable resource to lean on for myself. So while you give me a lot of credit and praise for the help that I've been able to offer you via live streams and the virtual events, I would not have a shred of the amount of peace of mind that I have in my day-to-day life if it wasn't for you and RI Elder Info. So thank you. It's said with so much love and admiration for you and everything that you do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your kind words, Ben. You,
You're welcome.
you got me a little choked up. You're not alone, and that's the thing. There's so many caregivers out there, and so many, husbands or wives who are just struggling to find the information, and that's not okay. It's not okay. People deserve to have access to information that's easy to understand and readily available. And I always say it that if it's a personal issue that you still want to have a conversation with somebody, call me, email me, text me. I'm available and I will answer the phone. If I'm with someone, then it'll go to voicemail and I call back. And so many times people have been really surprised that I actually answer the phone or call them back. And in some ways, that kind of makes me sad that that's people's experience, because when you are a caregiver, you've got so many other things that are going through your mind that struggling to get someone to pick up the phone shouldn't be one of them. And yet you mentioned the public service announcements for the vaccines, like that was amazing. And again, getting that word out about how do you get the vaccine and where do you go and what do you expect? Those are all really important things that people need. I got a text last night from somebody. She's in the school department, and she said, and I asked her permission to read this. So before I share, I have her permission. Her name is Christine Andrews. She works for Johnston School Department. And she said, I helped a coworker today with a recommendation to Hope Alzheimer's Association in Cranston, as well as the aid and attendance benefit and a few other resources that I learned from you. She was so relieved. And it's about that. It's sharing the word. It's getting the word out that there is help available. We did do, and we continue to do, Calling All Veterans Day. But we also, RA Elder Info also wrote, I learned that there actually wasn't a printable resource for veterans. So I wrote Operation Connect. Operation Connect is for military members, veterans, and their families. It can be downloaded for free. I'm keeping it up to date for resources because our military members, there was nothing that could be printed and handed to somebody so that people could see what are the organizations that can help them. So I wrote it. And, when in doubt, do it. If nobody else is doing it, do it. When COVID hit and everybody was facing social isolation and loneliness, I launched the community family chat, and every Wednesday there would be a group of folks who would join and we would just talk to each other. Because in the first days of COVID, like we were home alone all the time. And, you kind of get tired of talking to, just your spouse and your kids or your loved one or your pet. So it's kind of a way for us to be social, and gather together. And throughout this time, we also learned that there's a lot of caregivers who are going through a lot of things and they really needed a support group. So in January, we launched the RA Elder Info Caregiver Support Group. And that support group actually meets today. So if you are a caregiver watching this, I will shoot you over a link and you can join us on Zoom. But what has enabled us to be successful really has been our sponsors and our donors. So far, we haven't received any big grants, so no big chunks of grant money coming in. But what I can say is we have had some truly amazing donors. The Galvin Family Trust, absolutely amazing, completely unexpected donation, was absolutely wonderful. We have United Healthcare. Jennifer Barrows, she said she reached out to me. We happened to give a presentation more than 2 years ago. And she reached out and she's like, I remember your presentation and I want to learn more. And United Healthcare is one of our huge sponsors, and it allows us to be able to reach people even more. But our biggest sponsor at the moment is Oak Street Health. And Oak Street Health has some amazing services. One of the big ones that it's an issue for a lot of folks is the actual getting to the doctor, like transportation to the doctor. And Oak Street Health provides free transportation. So they will send someone to your house to pick you up to get you to the doctor. You don't have to go 20 different places. They're going to take care of that for you. And so Oak Street Health, Greg Chiara has sent in a message that he recorded for us. He's actually on a plane coming in from Philly, so he couldn't join us live today. Can you share Greg's message?
Hi, this is Greg Chiara. I'm the Regional Vice President for Oak Street Health. I want to start by saying happiest of birthdays to Rhode Island Elder Info, the premier comprehensive resource for seniors, caregivers, and professionals. Deb works tirelessly to make sure she is making accessible to these key groups all of the information, resources, and services that are available to them. Oak Street Health is so proud to call Rhode Island Elder Info our partner. We serve adults on Medicare, and at Oak Street, we treat the entire person, not just the medical. That means we help with all the social determinants of health, like food and rent insecurities, as well as social isolation and many others. If everyone thinks about what Rhode Island Elder Info does, our partnership is a natural fit because they help fill a void with issues we want to help solve. Our mission and Rhode Island Elder Info's missions are completely aligned, which makes working with Rhode Island Elder Info and Deb Burton so perfect. Happy birthday, Rhode Island Elder Info. We look forward to an even better partnership and future for our Rhode Island seniors.
Hey, it's so good to hear those words. You know, we do believe in keeping people independent and keeping people going for as long as possible. You know, that's the important thing. Getting you the healthcare that you need, getting the transportation to the healthcare that you need. It can sometimes be all those little things that can trip people up, and be a barrier. And so it's really important to me that when possible to get out into the community and have real conversations with people to find out what's going on, find out what are their issues, what are their concerns, and then find the ways to address them. So sometimes there's not always an answer. Sometimes people do ask me questions that there's no answer for. And so what I do then is I bring those concerns up the food chain, and I'll reach out to the Lieutenant Governor's office. I'll reach out to the Office of Healthy Aging. I will reach out to the governor if necessary to have issues addressed so that everybody's voice can be heard. And when I say everybody's voice, it's really important to me and to RI Elder Info as a whole that all voices, regardless of the language spoken, the geography of where they're located, that information and resources be accessible to everyone. And so it's important to me that when, I often participate in different state meetings as a member of the public, to really bring up the issues that what someone might be facing in the metro area may be vastly different than someone down in South County or over in Tiverton or Little Compton. But they're Rhode Islanders too. And so their concerns need to be heard just as much as the metro area. Perhaps an individual is older and maybe they speak another language. They have a different first language. They're entitled to information and resources too. And so part of what RI Elder Info does also is to reach out into the community and hear what are the questions, what are the issues, what are the concerns that are happening. We listen to what the professionals are worried about. Where can they get their answers? And a lot of times we're answering questions, for professionals. We have a lot of folks who are maybe newer to their jobs. And so it is a matter of, there used to be a resource that somebody said something about. Yeah, there was. And here it is. And here's a link to it. So it's always about getting people connected for as long as, we possibly can. We are in this together. We are going to continue to do some really amazing things. We're going to continue with innovative programming. We are looking at expanding our reach into the community so that as COVID allows, we're going to start being in the community more to meet with people more face-to-face, one-on-one. Obviously, we can't do that just yet, only to a very small degree, because I don't want to be known as Delta Deb as the one spreading Delta out there. But we're going to start expanding even more. And that's going to be through the possibilities of, again, our sponsors and our donors. And we're going to have some amazing events coming up. We've got the second annual virtual senior resource fair coming up on November 4th. And we're going to talk to Bob Robillard, the head of the Senior Center Directors Association. Senior centers have been an absolutely amazing resource throughout COVID. We're going to talk to Armin over at the EMA about preparing for emergencies. We're going to talk to Rose out of the Medicaid office to discuss Medicaid applications. Medicare and the difference between Medicaid and Medicare. It's going to be a great show, and I encourage everybody, if you can see me now, I encourage you to save the date for November 4th. And we're going to run 9 to 11. It's going to be an absolutely fabulous event, just like last year. We are reaching thousands of people on a regular basis here. And they talk a lot of times about, folks don't use the internet, et cetera, et cetera. And it's true, there are some people who don't. And the people who are around them, the people who care and love them, they can access the internet on their behalf. And of course, if you don't have that as an option, maybe you're just not a tech person, you can always email me, call me, send me a text, whatever works for you, and I will answer the phone. So some of the other amazing things, I'm looking at expanding our caregiver support in the new year. I have some amazing announcements that are going to be coming up, so you got to stay tuned for that. I'll also be expanding our professional trainings. So coming up in December, there'll be a professional training on hoarding disorder, the 3 R's of hoarding: recognizing, resources, and realistic actions. That's going to be on December 2nd. It will be hybrid, so some will be with us in person and others will be joining us via Zoom. Those announcements will be coming out as well very soon. So RA Elder info is only 3, but we have done some really amazing things, from the virtual senior resource fairs to calling all veterans virtual conferences and the calling all women warriors and creating Operation Connect and putting out the public service announcements regarding COVID and sending our weekly newsletters and getting information out to the people who need it. But I think the thing that I'm most proud of is we hold these Friday Friends, we hold these events, and we send them out into the world. And we know that people are watching. And then the organizations that have participated with us, our Friday Friends, and the folks who have spoken at our events, they come back and they say, people reached out to us. People got the help that we needed. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Getting people the information and resources that they need in a way that they need it. Our core belief is that information is power, and no one should struggle to live a happy, healthy, dignified life from a lack of it. So I thank you all for joining me today and helping me celebrate our Elder Info's 3rd birthday. And I encourage you all to hit the like and the share button to help us get the word out, because we can't do this without your help. We are a small nonprofit, so we need your help to get the word out too. And I 100% guarantee there's somebody who needs this information. Thank you all for joining me today. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next Friday. Be well.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.